Hello, and welcome to Abilities United presents Community Connections, a program dedicated to those individuals living with a developmental or physical challenge. I'm Andrea Thronson, marriage and family therapist, and community connections developer at Abilities United. Tonight we have a very unique program, and I'm going to let our first guest explain all this excitement. Bryan Neider is the CEO of Gatepath and soon to be Abilities United. Welcome, Bryan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Andrea.
So this is so exciting. Can you tell us about the excitement and what's going on?
So we've been working behind the scenes and a little bit of some public announcements over the last several months where Abilities United and Gatepath are going to become one organization. Will be the largest nonprofit serving the IDD community on the peninsula. We'll have over 300 employees from Daly City all the way to Sunnyvale and San Jose, multiple preschools, plenty of employment opportunities, and serving close to 1,400 individuals, families, children, and adults every single month. It's very, very exciting news.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
This is huge because
it's a big deal.
Gatepath has always been what I think of as kind of north, correct? Okay,
Yep.
And we've always been kind of South Bay.
Right.
So we're just going to be...
We're going to span both of them. So San Mateo to Santa Clara County, it's going to be fantastic.
Wow. What brought this about? How did this happen?
So I would say the seeds were planted probably a couple of years ago, but we had a lot of collaboration already with Abilities United and Gatepath on different programs, sharing resources where we could. And as you may know, the state of California sadly is 50th out of all 50 states in terms of funding for service providers for the developmental disabilities community. And we're trying to get creative about ways that we can share the resources we have and put more back into program and back into staff. And earlier late 2018, we started to have conversations, how can we make that possible? How can we share what we have and provide more for the folks that we care so much about and our staff as well? And that's what led to the conversations. And ultimately on July 1st, we will become one organization.
Right.
It's exciting.
That's brilliant, because when you say 50th in the state, I mean 50th in the country about as far as funding.
Yes.
So it's almost like we had to create a bigger entity to even begin to bridge that need.
Yeah, I would say for us collectively, it was looking to the future. How do we keep doing what we care so passionately about? And how do we make sure it's at a high quality? How to retain staff? And so thinking about the future and where California is at in terms of funding, it means we had to take active measures to be able to ensure that we're able to continue doing what we care and love doing, which is serving our community. And so that led to us finding a way to make this happen where Abilities United and Gatepath become one team.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it increases our capacity like by a bazillion.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes. And collectively, we are a 150-plus-year-old organization.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive in terms of serving families here on the peninsula for that length of time.
You're really talking about revolutionizing this whole area of what services we can bring and all of that. It's quite big.
It is, and I think, when we look at it, there are a lot of other advantages by becoming one organization. One is a lot of foundations want larger organizations so that they have more reach with whatever they're donating to certain programs. This allows that. We want to strengthen our voice in advocating for the people we care so much about. We're able to do that. We want to be able to share the ability for staff to move up and down the peninsula. So now they have an opportunity if they wanted to work in Daly City or if they want to work in San Jose. We now have an opportunity for people to be able to take different job openings up and down the peninsula to fit their life needs, which is great.
Oh,
and we have great employment relationships. We had a chance to spend time with the Abilities United team going over to Google and Bon Appetit. Gatepath also has a relationship with Bon Appetit at Electronic Arts, and we had a fantastic conversation about how do we extend our reach at more corporate campuses, providing employment opportunities and partnerships with more companies up and down the peninsula. So that's just one simple example of things that
Right.
we can do together.
Wow. You're obviously very passionate about your work.
Yes.
How did you get, where does that passion come from?
You know, it's working in Electronic Arts, which is an incredible employer going back 20 plus years of being an active partner with Gatepath and being at EA for about 26 years. I joined the Gatepath board, served 2 terms, and working in an inclusive campus, seeing how it enriches everyone's life.
Right.
It's something that became very important to me personally, hence joining the board. And then, you know, a couple of different things, getting to know some of the participants well, and seeing just how much everyone brings to a community. It's something that was important to me when I was looking for a second chapter in my life and my career, and then joining Gatepath. And so it's something my wife and I are very, very passionate about.
Wow. If you could go back to those memories when you were at EA and you saw the inclusive programs, what did that do? What was that like to see that?
You know, I think at the end of the day, we're all living the same human experience.
Yeah.
And everyone is equal, and everyone brings value, and everyone has something to add. And I've mentioned it a couple times. I wish my eyes were open to the richness that everyone brings earlier in my life, but I feel a passion now to share that with people that maybe don't know yet of what a truly inclusive community can look like.
Right.
And that goes through all aspects of what everyone brings to our communities overall. I think it's very, very powerful when you open your heart, your eyes, and your mind of the beauty that is out there and what everybody has to offer.
Right. And it's almost like, I mean, your background is ideal to marry the two. I mean, it's like it was meant to be, you know, and you're...
Well, like I said, this opportunity found me, and I'm blessed that it did.
Yeah. Well, speaking of all of the talents and the brilliance of our participants, we have a TV production class, and we have put together a video on the magical bridge. So let's have a look at what they've created.
So the idea originally came because I have a daughter, Ava, and she wasn't able to use any of the parks here in Palo Alto. And you know, Dawn is a real go-getter in this community, so she said, we can do it. You and I are going to build a park for Ava and all the children like Ava.
It ended up taking longer than we thought it would take in the beginning, but it took us about 6 years to create this wonderful playground.
So I really enjoy the enthusiasm and the joy that I see on the children's faces when we say, we're going to the magical bridge.
We feel that all playgrounds should be like the magical bridge, designed and built for children and families of all abilities.
We are so thrilled at Milestones Preschool and at Abilities United to have Magical Bridge Playground here. It's a perfect community setting where our kids in Milestones can really help meet a lot of their developmental goals, play, gross motor, social skills, turn-taking, you name it.
It's fun. I get to be with my mommy and daddy, my whole family, because I like all the structures.
How fun is the playground for you?
It's very, very, very fun.
We had an artist from San Francisco create these stepping sounds. So as you come through here, it changes with different natural sounds like walking through snow, walking through leaves.
The equipment are developmentally appropriate for each child, and all the different equipment too is just a great way for the children to explore and have good gross and fine motor skills.
Differences disappear, and you start to play with children and parents, and you don't notice how they're different from you, but you notice what makes them similar to you. You can have fun in a playground designed for everybody.
Is the playground good for all ages?
Yeah, for all the people in all ages.
Or do we need more magical bridges?
Because we have had hundreds, really hundreds of communities around the world asking us for playgrounds like Magical Bridge, we are forming a new group and going to be doing exactly that.
Seeing this park be completed and watching both young and old people enjoy the thrill of being able to participate in play that otherwise they would never be able to do is why we did all of this. This park is all about magic and everyone feeling welcome and being kind to each other.
Oh, I love that video. And our participants, they wrote it, they created it, they helped with some of the editing, and I'm sure there's more videos where that came from as we go into the future. So now we have a real special treat because we have one of the participants right here on our set. Nicole Adler is just, she's wonderful. She's wonderful. Nicole, what are you passionate about, and tell us about you?
So I'm most passionate about is love. Either same sex or family setting or just in general, like everyone needs love, and it's still taboo today. Since like probably like 17th, 18th century. So it's a long time since the centuries. I'm also passionate about transportation. Equality for transportation, education, resources like Gatepath and Abilities United, transitioning between high school and going to college or other resources out there. Also, I'm passionate about just fighting for what we believe in, fighting for equal rights, for human rights, for women power. So that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that's so interesting, and you speak so beautifully about transitions, and transitions are hard from high school and so forth. What helped you? What has helped you?
To help me between the gaps. Like I didn't know that I want to fight for equality. I didn't know that I'm going to be a motivational speaker. Since my first graduation speech, I was a commencement speaker for my high school, so I didn't know until then. So after my transition of after high school, that this is what I was born to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I want to fight for love from the beginning, since I was a kid, and fighting for like the things that we take for granted or don't take for granted, and we watch on the news every day what's going on in the world today. So like just fighting and just find those resources out there that will help people with disabilities and non-disabilities. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You speak so well. Bryan, how do you see, hearing Nicole's story and what her needs, what would you like to see as we go forward? Say more.
I just want to say, I had a chance to see Nicole's video about a week ago, and it is one of the most moving testimonials about love and acceptance I have ever seen. There were very few dry eyes in there after watching Nicole's message, and I think that what I care passionately about, and I know our staff do, is providing a platform and a voice for the incredible message that the folks that we get to work with and serve every day have to teach everyone. And Nicole is a living example of an incredible message that is universal, that I just, I feel blessed that Nicole has shared her vision with us about what equality and love look like. Yeah. And so the more that we can provide that to the community at large, the better off everyone's going to be.
Right. And I think, Nicole, the state of the world right now, we're a little chaotic. And you talk about some of the values that we all need to get back to. Loving each other, doing hard work, making a difference. All of those things that really matter are important. Yeah. Tell us about because I know you've been involved with some advocacy and policy. What else? Tell us.
So I'm also on the state board.
Wow.
I'm the first person with Down syndrome on it. And I'm under Gavin Newsom right now. I was under Jerry Brown for 2 terms, but I'm fighting for equality. for people with disabilities. We're talking about like safety, education, transportation, and I actually got a voice. I didn't in the past.
Right, right. You're kind of a celebrity. Wow, that's impressive. What does that feel like pressure because you're at such a high level? What's that like for you?
Some pressure, but not a lot, because this is what I want to do with my life.
Right.
I don't want a paying job. That's not what I want.
You want to be involved in
creating. I want to fight for equality for all people.
You're a change maker.
Yes.
You're a change maker, and it sounds like that your mission, your umbrella of a mission, is bigger than your everyday struggles. And I think we all have to remember that when we have a vision, we have to put up with the, like you said, the stress and the difficulties that come along with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you foresee in the future? What would you like to be doing?
Keep on doing what I'm doing. Fight to ban the R word. Fight, especially the R word. Fight for love, especially for same-sex marriage. Yes.
Nice.
I'm also a part of that as well. Just like holding hands and kissing in public, because that's really taboo. And people don't know what love is if they don't see that. We always have heterosexual sex, but we don't see homosexual that much anymore.
Yeah.
I know everyone is proud and part of that community, but I want people to understand there's other things besides the norm.
Right.
Especially in the Down syndrome community. People in that community always think about heteronormatively,
Right.
and boy crazy, and like boys a lot, but I'm the opposite. I like girls.
Well, and I think what you're talking about is the same thing, Bryan, that you're talking about is make it, we're all human. We all fit, we all matter. Some of us have love in this way, some of us work this way. We all have differences, but we're all the same. And it sounds like, the mission of Gatepath and now Abilities United is to create that equality.
It is. I think I mentioned earlier, just before we started the show, that we had a Genentech volunteer event. And they were helping with resume writing and interview skills. And one of the projects was to put together dream boards for the participants they were helping coach for jobs. And I was a little bit late, and so I saw all these dream boards on the table. And what really struck me was all of the participant dream boards were universal with everyone's dream boards if we were to make them.
Right.
And it really changed for me that our job is to be life coaches and enablers and helping empower those dreams coming to life. And that's a different type of focus because I think that when limitations are created, you're leaving off incredible opportunities.
Yeah.
And when we're here to serve others in reaching their potential, it's not to determine what that is, it's for us to learn and discover what it is and then help enable that. And I think the passion that you hear in Nicole's voice is something that is so powerful, and I think for all of us, how do we make that voice heard? Because she has an incredible message, and a message that everyone can learn from, and I think that you're an incredible spokesperson for everyone, for equality, for love and acceptance, and like I mentioned before, your message in the video was just incredibly powerful and very moving for me personally. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. I think it kind of goes back to the concept. There's a saying that goes like, the wound is the place where the light enters. And it sounds, Nicole, like you have taken your disability, you have taken some of the things that you're passionate about, and you've turned that into this incredible sense of light. And now you're carrying that legacy forward. And Bryan is, we're the vehicle of being able to do that, of taking something that was dark and kind of secret and all of that and bringing it, shining it out, because every portal of struggle is a portal of light.
Yeah, and I think when you imagine any great successes anyone's ever had, they've all had coaches. They've all had a community that supported them to get there, whether it's going to a baseball practice or whatever it might be. And I think that, you know, we are very fortunate to have jobs that are helping enable that kind of talent come to light. And, you know, it's not often you get to do that. It's not often you get to be able to empower people to achieve their dreams. And that's why we're fortunate to do the work that we do.
Yeah. No, and I think you know, because Nicole, what I hear from you is you've got a lot of dreams. You've got a lot of dreams, and seeing those to fruition. And do you get an image in your mind of what you want to do, or are you just driven by a sense of what you think is right?
I know what I want to do with my life already. I want to be a songwriter, something to do with writing, because that's also my other passion. Using my story, my advocacy, my equality, and put it on paper. It's so powerful. And I also want someone to sing it or make it really powerful, because one lyric can change someone's life.
Yeah,
so that's what I want to do.
So along that line, what would you say, Nicole, to someone who's sitting at home and saying, you know, I'm just one person, I can't make a difference? What would you say to inspire or encourage someone?
You can change someone's life. Like, for me, that was Ellen DeGeneres. For me, it was celebrities from the early Disney Channel days. Having role models, having a platform, having someone advocating with you, like my mom is advocating with me.
Right.
And showing what I'm capable of. And we're both attached to each other, so it's like easy, and we can talk about intimate things together, and my dreams and my goals and my life.
Right.
Just having that someone help you, push you. Being an advocate is just being like yourself, being who you are.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't define who you are. It's just who you are, and you can make a difference.
And Bryan, I mean, that is exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about creating that partnership and creating the coaching, creating a system. What would you say to someone to kind of, along the same lines, inspire them?
Well, I don't know if I can really add much to what Nicole said. I think that acceptance, respect, and inclusion, and making a difference in the community, sometimes one relationship at a time. And I think people sometimes underestimate the impact they can have on someone's life. And it might be something as simple as providing a job interview. It might be something as simple as helping a parent whose child may be having a meltdown in a store. There are little things like that that make a difference. And when we start to see everyone as being equal, and equal in every sense of the word, I think that that opens up opportunities that we've only begun to tap.
Yeah, and the potential is huge.
It is.
It's huge, and we all need mentors. We all need partners. You know, in working, what I've seen is that what really heals is community, and feeling that, so that that sense of aloneness goes away, and that seems to be what both of you are talking about. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. Bryan, what would you like to just see for the future as this affiliation comes? What's a couple of words you could just sum up?
You know, I think it's, that's a great question. I think first of all is being a resource for families up and down the peninsula, being seen as a group of incredibly passionate and caring staff, which we have, partnered with a very embracing and supportive community, so that everyone that we serve has an equal opportunity at fulfilling and reaching their dreams. And that doors open and opportunities are abundant, and we're not having to knock doors down because they're being opened for us, because people have opened their hearts. And we've got the staff to do it. We've got a great supportive community. So I'm very excited about the future.
Yeah, you've got lofty goals.
Yes.
And lots to do, but It, excuse me, it sounds like, and Nicole, it sounds like you've got a plan for your life and a vision, and you have a very, very bright future as well. Yeah?
I do.
I think that that's wonderful. And I love how you talk about getting back to the values and what really matters.
Yeah.
That's very important. So, well done. How exciting. And I'm
Very
so
much so.
glad we'll look forward to more announcements.
Absolutely.
And more news.
Many exciting things coming.
It takes place officially July 1st.
July 1st. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
correct. Well, as someone who's been at Abilities United for a long time, I think this is really a lot of excitement in the air and a lot of fun. I also want to announce that we now have a podcast, and it's called Solutions Navigating Life, and we broadcast every other month, and you can find it on iTunes and Google Play and Spotify and all of those good things. So it sounds like together we're going to be all over.
Yes.
And making a big change, and really working, like you said, Nicole, to bring equality and voices and passion and all of that to the world. It's wonderful. It's very wonderful. So as you can see, we've learned a lot today, and it's so exciting. The future is so bright. And partnering together, we have so many things that we need to do, and there's a lot of excitement. So thank you so much for joining us at Abilities United Presents Community Connections.